Ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, we are back with another episode, guys. Chapter 19 of Genesis. Let's get into it. Now, remember a quick recap. Okay, the Lord and two angels came to Abraham. Abraham offered them some food to the men because the two angels that came down with him were in human form. He fed them, and pretty much they talked to him, saying, "Hey, rest assured, we're going to give you a daughter by next spring, or a son by next spring, with your wife Sarah." And at the very end, they said, uh, Abram talked to the Lord after he sent the two angels to Sodom to pretty much punish them for the wickedness and the evil sins they've been doing, because of the outcry that the Lord has heard. It was too grave. He had to go see it in person. But then Abraham, at the very end, he said, he got him down to, I think it was, if 10 righteous were in the city, he'll save the entire city. Um, and I think because he has a strong feeling with it, because that's what Lot states, and he doesn't want Lot to be hurt. So chapter 19, let's go. So the two angels came to Sodom in the evening. Okay, remember Sodom's right here. They left from Mamre, and they went to Sodom. So the two angels came to Sodom in the evening, and Lot was sitting in the gate of Sodom. So I'm assuming it's this big entire city, and Lot was sitting in the gate, or on the gate, by the gate of Sodom to enter the city. Or it could have been maybe his house was on the outskirts of the city, but however way you want to interpret that. So when Lot saw them, he rose to meet them and bowed himself with his face to the earth. So he bowed down. He bowed down with his entire knees on the ground, his hand, his legs. He bowed down and said, "My Lord, turn aside, I pray you, to your servant's house and spend the night. Wash your feet, then you may rise up early and go on your way." So he said, "My Lord, look, turn aside, I pray for you, to your servant's house and spend the night. So come to my house and spend the night. Wash your feet, eat some good food, then rise up early and go on your way." They said, "No, we will spend the night in the streets because we want to visit. We want to go to the streets of the city and we want to go see it and see how it is. We don't want to stay by your house, in your house. No, thank you. We want to go to the streets. We're going to go in the middle of the city." Uh, but he urged them strongly. So he kept on repeating, "Come on, no, stay with me, stay with me, stay with me." So they turned aside to him and entered his house. And he made them a feast and baked unleavened bread, and they ate. But before they lay down, so before they went to sleep, the men of the city, the men of Sodom, both young and old, all the young men and all the old men of that entire city, okay, all the people to the last man, we're talking about every single buddy, young and old, surrounded the house, and they called for Lot. So, like, imagine that. Imagine a house right outside New York City, and every man that was young and old came out and surrounded his entire house. Quote, "Where are the men who came to you tonight?" They told that to Lot. "Bring them out to us, that we may know them, because we want to see them. Some two people came into the city we've never met. We want to see them." Lot went out of the door to the men. So I can only imagine there were everybody outside his house shouting, "Hey, where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out to us. That way we know them. Come on, show their faces. I want to see their faces." Lot went out of the door to the men, shut the door after him. He didn't want the angels to leave. He shut the door. Lot went out of the door to the men, shut the door after him, and said, quote, "I beg you, my brothers." He's calling them my brothers, right? Because these men are very wicked and evil. This entire city is wicked and evil. So wicked and evil that the Lord had to come down with two angels, three of them, and he had to see it for himself. He's saying, "I beg you, my brothers, do not act so wickedly." Because remember, it's told us before a couple chapters ago, we know this. It's a very wicked city. It's an evil city. It's a Satanist city. "I beg you, my brothers, do not act so wickedly. Behold, I have two daughters who have not known a man." He's saying they're virgins. "I have two daughters who are virgins. Let me bring them out to you and do to them as you please." He's offering his daughters. That's crazy to me. He's offering his virgin daughters to these men to do what they want. And we don't know what they're going to do. He wants them to sleep with them, have sex with them. Only do nothing to these men. Don't do anything to these angels. And they don't know they're angels. They just know they're men, right? Because they're coming down in human form. These angels are in human form. So the people from Sodom and the city, they're thinking they're just men, right? Literally, they know they're genuine angels from the Lord. So he said, let me bring them out to you. Let me bring my daughters out to you. Do with them as you please, and do to them, and only do nothing to these men. That's all I'm asking you. I'll give you my daughters. Have sex with them. Just do nothing to these men, because Lot knows. Lot knows. Okay. Lot knows. He was at the gate of Sodom. He saw them, and he instantly knew. Oh no, the day of judgment is here for these people in the city. And the fact that he said, "Come to my house, let me serve you as a mere servant," they told them, "No, we're going to go to the city." He urged them so much. It says, but he urged them strongly. So he urged them. He was like, "Come on, no, please, please, please." He was probably practically begging them. So they turned aside into him, and they went into his house, because he knew if if those two angels went to the city streets, they would see how wicked the city is, and they would wipe it out, everything. And I can only go. From reading this, I can only say that Lot, even though the city was so wicked, he had friends in that city, because he says he called them brothers, all the men, young and old, every single man in that entire city. He says, what does it say? I beg you, my brothers. He's begging them. He's begging his brothers. He's calling him my brothers. Do not act so wickedly. So he knows how they are. And he knows what time of judgment is coming. But he wants to save them. Why? I don't know. I think it kind of goes to show that even the most righteous and good man, and obviously he doesn't tell us if Lot does these stuff wickedly. He doesn't tell us if Lot is one of the men like this. But let's just say, for argument's sake, Lot's a good and righteous man, which I believe. But it goes to show that even with a good and righteous man, you put him in a situation, or you put him in a zone or in an area or around people who are very wicked, he, one, will become like them, or two, he'll become sympathetic to them. And the Lord doesn't want any of that, right? The Lord doesn't want you to be as wicked as these people are. He wants you to follow the Lord. So he says, so offered his daughters. He said, only do nothing to these men, for they have come under the shelter of my roof. He's saying, look, don't do anything to these. These guys are my guests. Respect me, please. Don't do nothing to this. He's trying to convince these guys to not touch them, because they are angels and they will kill them all. But they said, stand back. They told Lot, stand back. And they said, this fellow came to sojourn. So that means this fellow came for only to stay temporarily. He's not a native to Sodom. These guys are outsiders. These guys are aliens. Okay? This fellow came to sojourn. And he would play the judge, he says. So he's saying, these people aren't even from our town or city, and he wants to play the judge, and he will play the judge. Now we will deal worse with you than with them. So I think they're talking about Lot, because they told him to stand back, and they said this fellow came to sojourn. So I think they're talking about Lot. Now he wasn't here forever. He just recently came, semi-recently came. He wasn't always from there, and he would like to play the judge. Now we will deal worse with you, Lot, than with them. So, and then they said, so now they're actually turning on Lot. Then they pressed hard against the man Lot and drew near to break the door. So they probably grabbed him and they wanted him to break the door. So, but the men put forth, Then they pressed hard against the man Lot and drew near to break the door. But the men put forth their hands and brought Lot into the house to them and shut the door. And so the two angels were seeing this. Okay? They knew that they were going to hurt Lot, because they were mad at Lot. The men from Sodom were saying, who are you to tell us what to do? You're only here temporarily. And keep in mind, these people are wicked, so they don't even think normally. Now they were saying, now we would deal worse with you than with them. So they wanted to hurt them. And Lot knew that. So he's saying, now we're going to deal worse with you, Lot, because you want to judge us and tell us what not to do. So we're gonna punish you more than what we're going to do with them. But the men put forth their hands and brought Lot into the house to them and shut the door. So the angels grabbed him, opened the door, brought him in, shut the door, and they struck with blindness the men who were at the door of the house, both small and great, so that they wearied themselves groping the door. So, I can imagine they probably struck a bright light so strong that the men couldn't even see. So that way they couldn't open the door. And it says, then the men said to Lot, the angels, in human form, have you anyone else here? Do you have anybody else here? Son-in-laws, sons, daughters, or anyone you have in the city? Because, okay, so most likely then Lot was on the outside of the city. He had a house outside the city. And they probably kicked him out. They probably didn't allow him to come into the city based off the way they're treating Lot. They're probably like, you're not from here. Go. You can't be in the city. You're going to be outside the city. Have you anyone else here? Do you have anybody here? Son-in-law, sons, daughters, or anyone you have in the city? Bring them out of the place. So take them out the city. For we are about to destroy this place, because the outcry against its people has become great before the Lord, and the Lord has sent us to destroy it. So Lot went out and said to his son-in-laws who were to marry his daughters. So I guess both his daughters, he had people planned to marry them. He told them, up, get out of this place, for the Lord is about to destroy the city. But he seemed to his son-in-laws to be jesting. So he seemed to be joking with his son-in-laws. Let me go back. So the angels told him, look, we're done. We're destroying this place. It's too wicked. It's too evil. The outcry is too strong for the Lord. He's been hearing the cries from the city for too long. We're coming in here. We're destroying it. So tell anybody that you need to tell to get out the city, because we're destroying it. So he told to his future son-in-laws, get out, because they're going to destroy the city. The city's going to be destroyed. And they thought that he was joking. They never left. They were like, you're joking with us. Come on. The city isn't going to get destroyed. So it says, when morning dawned, the angels urged Lot, saying, arise, take your wife and your 2 daughters who are here, lest you be consumed in the punishment of the city. So they're saying, look, you stay here, you're going to deal with the punishment. If you leave, you won't. We're giving you a chance, Lot. But he lingered. So he stayed there. So the men seized him and his wife. So they took him. Lot's like, I'm not going to leave here. I'm staying right here. Kind of shows you, like, man, like, when you're around evil people, you become it, right? Or when you're around stupid and foolish people, you become one. So he lingered. So the men seized him. They took him and his wife and his 2 daughters by the hand. The Lord being merciful to him. The Lord was merciful to him. And they brought him forth and set him outside the city. And when they had brought them forth, they said, flee for your life. Do not look back or stop anywhere in the valley. Flee to the hills, lest you be consumed. He's saying, look, leave, run away. Don't even look back, okay? Or stop anywhere in the valley. Don't even try to stop somewhere close. Flee to the hills, far from here. Because if you don't, then you're going to be consumed with the entire city. And Lot said to them, oh no, my lords, behold, your servant has found favor in your sight, and you have shown me great kindness in saving my life. But I cannot flee to the hills, lest the disaster overtake me and I die. So behold, yonder city is near enough to flee to. So he didn't want to go all the way over there. He said, look, behold, yonder city is near enough to flee to, and it is a little one. Let me escape there. Is it not a little one? Like, it's a small little city. Come on, let me just flee there. I don't want to flee to the hillside, and my life will be saved. He said to them. So the angel said to him, behold, I grant you this favor also. So they saved his life, and they granted him the small city that was closest by to be saved. That I will not overtake the city of which you have spoken to. Make haste. So hurry up, escape there, for I can do nothing till you arrive there. So he's saying, go to the city first, stay there, because I can't destroy the city until you're gone. So most likely the Lord told them, hey, save Lot and his family, destroy everything else. And that would make sense, right? Because when the angels told him to leave and he stayed, they grabbed him and they said, you have to leave now. So make haste, escape there, for I can do nothing till you arrive there. Therefore the name of the city was called Zorah, because I think Zorah in Hebrew means safe spot, I think. Oh no, it says it right here. No, it's not. I think Zor in Hebrew means like small city, but I'll put it in the description or whatever. Let's continue. So therefore, the city of the name that Lot went to was called Zorah. The sun had risen on the earth when Lot came to Zorah, so it probably took him a whole other day. So it says, Then the Lord rained on Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone and fire with the Lord out of heaven. And he overthrew those cities and all the valley and all the inhabitants of the cities and what grew on the ground. So we destroyed everything. Then the Lord rained on Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone and fire. It's death from the Lord out of heaven. And he overthrew those cities and all the valley and all the inhabitants of the cities and what grew on the ground. So everything, the plants, the trees, the people. But Lot's wife behind him looked back. Remember, the angel told him, do not look back, because you will be consumed with the destruction of the city. But Lot's wife behind him looked back, and she became a pillar of salt. She died. She's gone. And Abraham went early in the morning to the place where he had stood before the Lord, and he looked down towards Sodom and Gomorrah. So he was probably on the high side, and he could see sort of Sodom and Gomorrah, and toward all the land of the valley. And beheld, and lo, smoke of the land went up like the smoke of a furnace. So it was a massive fire, massive. The entire city was being burned down. It was destroyed, and he could see the smoke going up from the city, and he knew it's destroyed. And he probably was thinking in his head, "Oh, I just hope Lot is saved and his family." So it was that when God destroyed the cities of the valley, God remembered Abraham and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow when he overthrew the cities in which Lot dwelt. So he said, "Look." So it was then when God destroyed the cities of the valley, God remembered Abraham and sent Lot out of the midst. So he remembered Abraham and his kinsmen. I remember the Lord said, Abraham, I bless you and all your families and all your lineage and all your descendants. And that includes Lot, and he saved Lot. So it says, Now Lot went up out of Zoar and dwelt in the hills with his 2 daughters, for he was afraid to dwell in Zoar, because he was so afraid. I'm sure after his entire city was destroyed, or the city that he lived in destroyed, his wife was killed. He was so scared. He's like, I'm not going to stay in Zoar. I'm too scared. And took his 2 daughters and dwelt in the hills with his 2 daughters, for he was afraid to dwell in Zoar. He was afraid to stay in Zoar. So he stayed in the cave with his 2 daughters. So he stayed at a cave with his 2 daughters. And the firstborn, the oldest daughter, said to the younger, Our father is old, and there is not a man on earth to come into us after the manner of all the earth. So he's saying, look, the people that were planned for us, the husbands that were planned for us by our dad, they're dead now. Who's gonna be able to, how are we gonna have kids? Come, let us. So they said, because they're afraid of that, they said, Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him. Come, let us make our father drink wine. We're gonna get him drunk, and we're gonna have sex with him, that we may preserve offspring through our father. So they made their father drink wine that night, and the firstborn went in. So the firstborn had sex with him while he was drunk, and lay with his father. He did not know when she lay down or when she arose. And on the next day the firstborn said to the younger, Behold, I lay last night with my father. Let us make him drink wine again tonight also. Then you go in and lie with him. That way we may preserve offspring through our father. So they made their father drink wine the night also, the next night. And the younger arose and lay with him, had sex with him, and did not know when she lay down or when she arose. Thus both daughters of Lot were with child by their father, incest. The firstborn bore a son and called his name Moab. He is the father of Moabites to this day. And Moab in Hebrew, it means I'll look it up right now. He is the father of Moabites to this day. The younger also bore a son and called his name Ben-Ammi. He is the father of the Ammonites to this day. So let me look up Moab. Moab meaning in Hebrew. Do a little research. Yeah, from my father. And then so Moab, the meaning of that name, and the meaning of Ben-Ammi means from my father, because they were children from their father. That's crazy, right? Imagine the 2 girls had sex with their dad just so they can make sure they have offspring. And he is the father of the Ammonites to this day. So pretty crazy chapter. I mean, a lot went down. I think I was reading another version of this one, And I think when they said that, so this section said that we were going to deal. Remember, whenever Lot came down, I came out and said, uh, don't do anything to this man. He's like, you want to judge us? We're going to deal harder with you than we do with them. There's another version I was reading, and it said that they were going to sleep with him. Like, they're going to have gay sex with this guy. Let me see. What's this? Try to show it real quick. It's not this one. Okay. But, yeah, that's it for the chapter, guys. Some pretty big stuff. So Sodom, the city is destroyed because of how wicked and evil it is. Lot was saved because he was a kinsman of Abraham. And Lot moved to Zorah, which is right here. And then he went to the hillside, so he probably went over here somewhere. And then his daughters were afraid that they won't have any offspring and children, so they slept with their dad. So that's pretty crazy. But that's it for chapter 19, guys. Come back to see what happens next after this. Chapter 20 coming up soon. So I hope you guys have a good day, and